Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to our how to configure Salesforce training. Before we proceed with today's training, I'd like to tell everyone that there are two other classes that are currently ongoing. We have our Social Studio class and also our Service Cloud class that's also currently ongoing. I think you can still sign up to them, but I think they're also towards the end of their series. In the near future, we're also going to come up with a class focusing on Marketing Cloud, so it's something to watch out for. Now let's proceed where we left off in the last session. Last session, we ended up with talking about how to create fields on Salesforce and what's the difference. Now we will proceed with what's the difference between standard and custom fields, standard and custom objects. So standard fields usually come out of the box from the Salesforce product. These are your standard objects. Basically, it's through years of development as a CRM. So these are your basic objects like your accounts, your contacts, your opportunities, your leads, products, contracts, quotes. Uh, these things are coming out of the box of Salesforce. And whenever you are trying to configure or whenever you are trying to use Salesforce, it is better. Most of the time, it's better to use standard objects as much as possible so that you would have less configuration time or less time to customize it. So standard objects have their standard fields. Okay, so it comes with this standard field. So this is an example of a lead object. It has your standard fields like the owner, phone, name, company. So these come with the product. And then, so custom fields can be created on standard objects and custom objects as well. So you can add fields to standard objects. You can also add field to custom objects. When you are, say, in the case that, for example, in your company, a lead is called a prospect. So it's more of a naming thing. You don't call them leads. You're used to calling them prospects. So part of adoption of the new tool is to make it make it as familiar as possible. So say if you want to use the leads object, but you call it prospects, there's a way that we can do that. And then also, for example, in your process or in your company, you instead of using the name company, you call it an organization. So company is a standard field. You cannot go into the field and change its name. What you can do, however, for standard fields is you can just change the label. Later on, we will proceed. I will show you how to create and modify custom fields. But for now, let's focus on standard objects. So our next goal is to change leads to prospect and to change the company, field name company to organization. How to do that? So you go to the setup. In the quick find section, put in rename. So this is the section wherein you would rename tabs and labels. You don't need to go to the object in the object manager in this tab. From home, go to rename tabs and labels. Select the object you want to edit. For our case, it's leads. So you click on edit, and this is where you rename the object or the tab. Okay. So from lead, we're gonna call it prospect, and then the plural will be prospect. Okay. We click on next. When you go to the next page, it will show you all the standard fields that come with that standard object. So we want to change company. So the field name will remain as company, but here we can change it as organization. Okay. Scroll down below and then we click on save. See, automatically, since we changed the name of the object, all the other labels for the other objects, it will appear in the related list of other objects, has also been updated to prospects. You just have to save whatever we click, and it should be done. We go back to the page, we refresh it. And here you can notice that the tab is already named prospects from leads. And if you go to the details section, company, oops, didn't take effect. Wait. It's here. Let me go and try and save this again. Ah, I wonder what's happening. Let's try. Okay, here. So maybe I should close the record. Okay, so here in the prospects tab, from the related list, you can already see that instead of company, it's now labeled as organization. And if you go to the actual record, okay, I wonder why it's not working. Let me try and refresh the page. Interesting. Let me see what I did wrong. Let me go and reset this first. Okay, click and save. Finish. Ah, it's not refreshing. I wonder why. I'll take a look at it later. But it's supposed to change. Yeah. So here, I'm not sure why it's appearing in the related list, but not in the record page. But that's how you change the label of fields if you are working with standard field. Okay. Next is I will show you how to create a custom field in Salesforce objects. Now, how to do that is you go to the object manager and you select the object wherein you want to create the field. Say for accounts, we'll create a new field. So you select accounts on the menu on the left panel, you go to field and relationships, and then it will allow you to create a field. So it also shows you a list of all the fields available for your object. One way to determine if it's a custom field is it has an underscore C suffix in the field name. Okay, so if it doesn't have, so if it's, for example, account name is just name, account number is account number without the underscore C, that means it's a standard field. Okay, I'm going to show you how to create a field. So click on New. You select the data type of the field. There are several data types available for Salesforce. So you can have auto number, formula, roll-up summaries. There's a brief description on how to use, on what is that data type on the right. You can also Google it if you want more information. But this pretty much sums up all the data types that are available in Salesforce. The more popular ones are your formula, auto number, date is here, email is here, number, phone, text, text area. So each data type would have its own settings or configurable attributes. So a number is anything that you want to do computations or calculations with. So that is why a phone is different data type from a number, because you don't really do computations with the phone. If you are using, say, an identification or an ID number, it is better to use text instead of a number. Because if you use a number, then commas will come out in the screen, which is something that you don't really want for, say, identification numbers. Okay. Say we want to create a text field on the account object. What we will do is, let's call the field a current generators. Okay. Specify the length, say it's 255. I think that's the maximum length for text. It will allow you to set your configurable attributes, whether it's required, whether it should be unique, which means you do not have duplicate values. If this field would be used as an external ID, this means if you are integrating to a third-party system, you can make this as a unique identifier or your foreign key if you are integrating with a different system. Default value means you could add a default value if it's when you are creating a record for this object, then there would already be a default value. That doesn't mean that it cannot be edited. It can still be edited. It'll just provide a default value. So we'll keep these blank for now. Oh, okay. So I practiced before I did this. So there's already unique name. So field name, we just add another character so that it would be unique. In this page, we would establish a field level security. Here you have a list of all the profiles, user profiles that are available in your Salesforce instance. And then you would be able to select if the field would be visible to them. And we can also set if it would only be it will only be a read only field for those user profiles. So we just have to make sure that for the system admin, we can edit it so that we can see it in this demo. When you click on next, it will show you the different page layouts for that object. So for the accounts, there are different page layouts. We'll go deeper into that as well later. I'm going to show you how to edit those page layouts. So right now, we just have to make sure that it is available in the different page layouts. We can click save, and this automatically creates the field. Okay. So this is the field that we created, current generators underscore underscore C. Okay, so if we go to the page layout, so still in the account, and we select the page layout we want to update, it will show you this page layout editor page. So here, the top panel shows you the different items that you can include in the layout. So on the left part, you can select fields, buttons, custom links, quick actions, lightning actions, lookups. So it changes the right panel. It shows you the list. So if you select fields, it shows you all the fields for that object. Those that are grayed out means it is already included in the page layout. Those that are available uh, in the right panel, you can add them. Here, if you scroll down first, so highlights panel, it shows you highlights for the field. It will show up on the left side of the console. So here, part of the highlights panel is title, company, phone, and email. So this is your highlights panel. This is your detail page, the one in the middle, and these are your related lists. So if you look at it from your page layout, so this is the highlights panel. Quick actions, they appear here. This is the list of quick actions, so things that you can do uh, for your record. And then this is the detail section. So if you can see, we have the two current generators field. It shows the label. So what we can do first is we remove the old field. So you can click on it and drag it back to the upper panel. So that means we have removed that field. So this is the new field that we have created now. So we can go and move it up so that it shows at the top of the detail page. You can also put in sections. So these horizontal lines to segregate your data just to make it easier to read. You can add that by dragging this section component. So if you drag it to the page layout, it will allow you to create a section with these details. So you could have the section name, whether it's available on the detail page or the edit page, the layout, which is either one column or two columns, and then tab keys, meaning when you are hitting tab on your keyboard, this is how the cursor will travel, whether it's left to right or up top to bottom. Okay, and if you click on OK, to allow you to have that new section, and then you can put fields into it. Okay. You can also add a blank space in case for aesthetic purposes you want to have a space in between your fields. Okay. And then here at the bottom you have your related list. So this shows up if you are on a console view on the right side. It shows you what are the objects in your related list. It shows you what fields would be displayed. So we'll show you later in the account. Okay. Option, you can save your changes or save as, meaning you create another page layout and you save it. Quick save means, so when you click on save, it will also close this page layout editor view. Quick save means you just save all the changes and you will remain in the view. You can preview this as the type of user. Cancel will go out, and layout properties would show you the properties. Okay, so now we can save this one. Also here in the list of page layouts, there is a button called page layout assignment. So what this will show you is for the different profiles, it will show you the layout that they would see whenever they are accessing this object. So if you are looking at accounts, and then you are using, say, the custom marketing profile, what you will see is the account marketing layout. If you are sales, you will have the account sales layout, account support layout if you have the support profile. All the rest would have the account layout, the default. All the changes that we made earlier were done on the account layout, wherein we moved the current generators to the top, we added a new section, we moved the annual revenue field to that new section. So that means those changes would only be seen by all the other users except for these 3 users because we did not update these layouts. Okay. So let me just go and show you that one. So if we go to the accounts and then say open a record and go to the details. So it shows the new field that we have created, current generators. So it's on top of the detail page. This is the new section wherein we added and we moved the annual revenue field. Okay. Next, I'm going to show you. So if you're familiar with the process in Salesforce, you usually start off with a lead. So a lead is could be a name, company name, and contact detail, like a number or an email, which may potentially have interest in your product. So you could have your lead nurturing process, but once you are already trying to sell to that customer, once your lead becomes a potential customer, you convert it into an account, a contact, and an opportunity. Then that's how you work it. So accounts are usually company names if you are in a B2B setup. And then contacts would be contact details like your contact name, contact number, contact email that is attached to your account. And then opportunities are your sales opportunities with that potential sales opportunities. So here I can show you we can convert a lead into to an account. So when you convert the lead, you no longer you will no longer be able to uh, track your activities with that lead, and you should already work on either the account, the contact, or the opportunity. So one thing, if you have information that you have gathered, for example here, so Bertha is a lead, you want this information to carry to also be present in your account or contact or opportunity records. So you want all these information to also be transferred. So if you are using standard fields, then those are already uh, mapped to account records or contact records or opportunity records. So that is one advantage of using standard fields. However, there is a field in our lead record called current generators. So here, what we can do is we also want, so this is not a standard field. This is a custom field. So we want the information here to be carried through once we convert it into an account, a contact, and an opportunity. So what we need to do is we need to map this. And how do we do that? So you go to your setup, you go to your object manager tab, you go to your leads. Quick way of doing it is using the quick find. So you go to lead, you go to fields and relationships. And here, there's a button on the upper right corner called map lead fields. So what this does is when you convert your lead, it allows you to map your fields. Okay. So here, so there are two current generators. We just have to map it to the one we created. Okay. So here it shows you on the left side, it shows you all the fields that are not mapped yet. And then it will also, here, it will allow you to select whether you're in account, contact, or opportunity. Okay. Okay. So we map it to current generators and click on save. Okay. So if we go back to our sales console, say we create a lead, we go to lead, we click on new, say we met someone at a marketing convention, Calvin. Calvin Garcia. Okay. We put it from CG Corp. I'm just going through all the required fields, and let's include annual revenue 1 million. Okay. And if we scroll down, we say current generators GEX 400, something like that. Okay. So here, this creates uh, the lead record. Here you can add your open activities, or you could add, say, a new task, a new event. Say you want to schedule a call with Calvin Garcia, say by today, priority, then click on save. Or, so this shows you the task that is related to that lead. Will show up here in your related list. Say, or if you have already contacted that potential lead, you are, so as you nurture lead, you can log call. Say you can have interested. So from your call, you can add your notes in buying new generators. Okay. So you click on save. You can also update the status from not contacted. You can say that you have already contacted this person and you are ready to convert this lead. You can also include the rating. Say it's hot because they are very much interested. We want to make sure that the current generators is filled up so that we get to see the mapping that we did. So once you are ready, you can go to the quick actions and convert this lead by selecting convert. So if you convert, it will allow you to map, certain fields for the three objects that it will be converted into. Here, you can either select to create a new account record, or if you believe that lead is already part of an account, you can just choose the existing account here. Same for contacts and opportunity. Say CG Corp new generators. Okay. Right. So click on convert, and then it will, so Salesforce will create those three fields, those three records for the three different objects. So you can go to, you see here the account record, contact record of Calvin Garcia, and then opportunity. Okay. So if we go to the account record, since we map the field, it should automatically show up here in the current generators field, the one that we created. So that is how you go and map your fields from leads to either a contact, an account, or an opportunity. Okay. Next, let's go to some automations that we can do in Salesforce. So again, back from our lesson in the first session, we said that you can create automations without writing any code. So that's actually pretty powerful stuff. Now, clicks versus code. So it will allow you to customize and modify your system without writing any code. So like I said, Salesforce is built for to be used by business users. So they are trying their best to make things to allow you to customize things by just clicking your mouse and not writing any code. Okay, one of the automations that we can do is we can create a workflow. So a workflow is a simple automation that we can do on Salesforce objects. Say uh, we want, so in our lead object, we want that if the annual revenue of the lead is more than $1 million, the rating would automatically be hot. Okay, so and if that is also the case, we want to send uh, an email to our CEO that there is a hot new lead or a lead with more than a million. So there's the potential. There's a big company that we can potentially sell to. So how do we do that? And then you go to the home part of the setup, and you go to workflow. You type in workflow. Okay. Here, you could either go to the workflow rules. So this is where you set your criteria on when the workflow would trigger. In our case, it's when there is a lead created or there's a new lead that is worth more than 1 million. Oh, yeah, with an annual revenue of more than $1 million. Here, there's also a bunch of workflow actions. So if it gets triggered by a certain criteria, there are certain actions that you can do with your workflow. One is to send email alerts. Next is to update fields on the same object. You can also send outbound messages, meaning you can trigger if you are connecting to a third-party application. If you have some integration, you can send outbound messages. You can also send actions and create tasks. So for our use case, we will proceed and create. So first we go, we will create an email alert and field update. Okay. Before we proceed with the workflow rules, let's have uh, let's create an email template first, something that we will send in our email alert. So type in email templates. Here you have a list of the templates. A lot of these are standard. This one, I created one for specifically for this one, the hot lead alert. So if you open it, it will just show you uh, the email template that we can use. So what it does, so these are the email template details. And then this is the email template, which is based on HTML. And then this is the plain text. In case the HTML doesn't load, this will be the one that will be shown to the here. We go. Okay. If you want to edit it, so here you can edit. It will allow you to edit these fields. This is what we call merge fields in Salesforce. So this means that it will show the first name of the recipient, and it will show the company name of the lead and the annual revenue. How do you come up with the merge fields? You can go and generate them here. For example, if you are looking for a lead field, so here you select the lead fields, you select what, for example, uh, the city. So it will show you the lead field that you can copy. So there is a new lead name, lead company from this city with an annual revenue of, and this is the annual revenue. So you can go and save. So that's how to update the email template. Or okay, so let's go to our workflow. Okay, so here, if you want to create a new workflow rule wherein you can set the criteria of when you would trigger that workflow, click on new rule, select the object wherein that workflow will be triggered from. In our case, it's lead. Okay, click on next. Rule name, say big, hot lead alert. So you can put in description here. You would select the evaluation criteria, whether it's created and every time it's edited, or created and any time it's edited to subsequently meet the criteria. Okay. This means that if there's another action that triggers uh, updating this record, and then it makes it meet the criteria, this workflow rule would fire. So right now, let's select this one. Okay, and then the criteria, we will set it simply when the annual revenue is greater or equal to 1 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's how we set up the criteria to trigger the workflow rule. So every time a lead object here, a lead object is created or edited, and then the annual revenue is greater or equal than 1 million, this workflow would be triggered. Okay, so you can click on save and next. Uh, so setting up of the workflow is pretty intuitive. So right after, even if the workflow actions, you can go and create them or edit them in a different space. If you are creating a new workflow, it will automatically bring you to this page wherein you can add workflow actions. Okay, so for your workflow, we are adding a workflow action. So the two workflow actions that we wanted to create was first to update the field. So you click on add workflow action, new field update, and it will show you, let's call this as update rating. Okay. So description update the rating to hot. Okay. So it will show you the object and then what field to update. Rating. Okay. So after you select the field, it will allow you to. So rating is a pick list. It's a drop-down list, so it can allow you to select. It will show you the different choices here. So it's hot, warm, and cold. So we'll select hot, then we click on save. Next is we add another workflow action to send an email alert. Okay, so email alert, say email CEO on hot lead. Okay, so you enter it. Salesforce will automatically create the unique name. You select the template. Okay, so this is the hot lead alert template. you can either select a user, the role, or role and subordinate. So in the previous session, we showed you the role hierarchy. So you can also select that here. So roles and subordinates, meaning CEO, which is at the top of that hierarchy. So everyone below would receive an email. Okay. So here, we will just select role. Uh, so everyone with the role of CEO would receive it. And then for testing purposes, I'm going to select a user. I'm going to select my user so that I can show you the email alert. So I will also receive the email alert. Okay. From this is the current user's email address. Okay. Click on save. So again, quick review. So for our workflow, every time a lead is created or edited and the annual revenue is greater than or equal to 1 million, we would send an email alert to the CEO and we would update the field to hot. So you click on done and then that just saves it. What you need to do next is to activate this workflow. You have to click on activate button and then it will become active, which means these changes that we did will already be created. Okay, so we go to the leads. Let me close the other tabs first. Click on, let me go refresh just to be sure. Okay, so let's create a new lead. Say we met another person by the name of James Martin from XYZ Corp. Okay, here you can select an industry, apparel. Say their annual revenue is 2 million. 1, 2, 3, 8. And say even if we place a rating of cold, once we save this, because of the automation that we did, it would be saved as a hot one. You go to the details. So annual revenue. So we created a new record, lead record. Annual revenue is 2 million, and the rating is hot. Okay. So if we go to my email, here there is a hot lead alert. So I received two because I'm also the CEO. Okay. So here it shows the lead name is XYZ with an annual revenue. So it's not showing. So if the field is empty, uh, then it would be blank when we send the email. Okay, so how do we remedy that? So, oh, sorry. So this already allows you to. So what we've done is you have this automation without doing any code. So one way to make fields, if we want to ensure that we have a good email alert or an email notification, uh, we would want our fields to always be present. Otherwise, it will show you a message that looks like this. Okay. So one way of doing that is to make the field as mandatory. So when you're creating a field, you can make it as required. But another way of doing that is through the page layouts. Okay. So we go to lead here. You go to page layout, click on the lead layout. So if we want to have the city, so you go to the address. field here. You click on the wrench. So you make it required. Oh, I cannot make it required because it's a standard field. So for example, what's it? I think this current generators. Okay, so for example, we want this so that when we convert, we know if they have current generators. So that makes it required. So once you click save, current generators have to be saved. Okay. So that means whenever we are creating a new lead from the page layout, we need to, sorry, let me refresh this. So we need to enter a value for the current generators. So what is the difference between making it required on the field itself and the page layout? So if you only make it mandatory in the page layout, this field would only be required whenever they are creating it from the page here in Salesforce. But let's say you did some data migration wherein your leads are not are migrated automatically. This data migration, we will uh, tackle it on the next session. Let's say it's loaded by a third-party system or a different tool. Uh, you would still be able to create records without uh, uh, the current generators filled up. Okay. Okay. So that is creating field. Sorry, creating a workflow. Okay. Next is creating a process builder. So what is a process builder? So process builder is like an evolution of the workflow. So for example, in a situation wherein, so we know that accounts are related, contacts are related to accounts. So you have your account, say your company, and then you have your contacts listed there. Uh, so all the contact records are have a parent account, or these are your child accounts. Okay. Uh, Say the company, you want that, for example, a company moves their office to a different city or to a different location, to a different building. So what you want is, if you change the address of the company or the account record, you want to update the addresses of all your contacts. Okay, so you don't want to manually do that. Okay, so in other systems, you would have to create some code to do that. This is also not possible with a workflow, because it can only update the fields in the same object. Now we are talking about different objects, which is the account and the contact. If you are in the traditional programming platform, so what you have to do is you would have to query all the child accounts and then update each account. You loop through the results and then you update each account. So here in Salesforce, you don't need to do any code. You do not need to create any SQL queries. You just have to do a few clicks. How to do that? Okay. We go to setup and then we select the home. Quick find section. Let's go to process builder. Process builder. Okay. So it will take us to our list of processes. So this is one of the processes already existing. So if we want to create a new one, we will select new. we will include the process name called update contact address. Okay. So we can write a description and then we select when the process will be triggered. So here, you can do it every time a record changes, platform event, or it is invoked by another process. So other processes can call another process. For our case, we'll just select it when the record changes. You click on save. It will take you to this page, which looks like a flowchart. Okay. This is the start of the process, and then it can end here. You could add criterias, you could write which actions or schedule the action. For us, we want to do on the account object. Okay, so you go add object, you find the object here, and select on account. You can select whether the process is when the record is created only or when it is created or edited. For our case, it's edited. Then we can click on save. Okay. Okay, so we are selecting for the account and then we add the criteria. Say the criteria name is address change. Yeah, address change. Okay, then we select the conditions, meaning whenever the account field billing, okay, for example, billing city. So when the billing city of the account is changed, here, okay. So billing city is changed to true. So this means it changed, and then so you can have several conditions. You can set whether it's an all or nothing end, or it's an or you could have a custom logic wherein you could have combination of conditions. So we'll keep it simple. So whenever the billing city is changed on the account, okay, so if it's yes, if it's true, it will go to the immediate action. And here, what we want is to update records. Okay, update contact address. Okay. So here you want to either you want to update the account record or a record related to the account. So the contact is related to the account in a lookup relationship. Okay. So if you select this, you will be able to select the account, the contact, sorry, contact object. Okay. Okay. So this means you are selecting all the contacts related to that account. Then whether if you can add another criteria, uh, conditions here, but you can also just update the record. Say, so the billing would be, okay, let's say mailing street, mailing street. So this means the mailing street field in the contact would get the value from, oh, sorry. Okay, field reference means it's from the account object, could get the new billing street. Okay. Then we click on save. So this is a very simple process builder. So whenever we edit the account and we change the billing street, we will update the mailing street of all our contacts. We just so that's what will happen. So click on activate to make sure that this is available. Okay, then we go back. Okay, just go refresh this page. Okay, so let's test what we did. So just close this. So this is an account, okay, called Dickinson PLC. And it has, you see, there are two contacts here, Neil Board and Andy Young. Okay, so this is the billing address. It's 1301 Hawk Drive, Lawrence, Kansas, USA. Okay, so if we look at Neil Bourne, look at his details, his mailing address is the same. So 1301 Hawk Drive, Lawrence, Kansas, USA, as well as Andy Young, our SVP. It will also show you that the mailing address is at 1301 Hawk Drive. Okay. Now, say they move their office from 131 Hawk Drive to, say, 2020 Ayala Avenue. Okay, so this is the billing street is where we put our process builder. So once we go and save this, we should be able to see the updates on both the contacts in Neil Bourne. Oh, not working. Go and refresh. Okay. We open Neil Bourne. I wonder why. Did not update the deactivated. Active. Uh, anyway, I'll see what happened. This is the second time today, but I'll see what happened. Let me see if you have any questions. I'll make sure to address this the next time. We have 2 minutes left. Go and see. Active. Mailing street. Street. It's weird. Let me make sure to address this the next time we meet. I think we have a minute left today. I'll make sure to address this. We can end our session at this. Thank you for your time and thanks for joining.